Greetings, folks. Here we are again on YouTube talking about the things that are important to you. This is our Phoenix is Rising broadcast. It's a lot different than our other ones on meditation and comparing one album or one artist to the next, because in this one we talk about the truth. The truth about the world, the truth about ourselves, the truth about what's going on. A truth that we know from many sources. Some of the sources are reading, writing, all of those things that most human beings do in order to learn to live in a world of human beings. Other sources are the mental abilities that each and every one of us have that we can cultivate in order to figure things out. Unfortunately, in our world, some people have given those things up, and they depend more on just believing what they're told. And then we have intuition, sort of the drawing on all of the ways we've had of understanding before. But they come usually quickly in a big clump, without having to go through all of the steps, A, B, C, and D, the steps that the scientific method always requires in order to see things as valid. It's like taking a giant step instead of taking many small steps. The only reason they want you to take many small steps in the scientific method is to basically see if they're valid, and most of all to learn to replicate them. Because to be truthful, in our world, science is part of a power over discipline. Most people don't just learn things just to know how they work. They learn things so that they can influence them when it comes to the scientific community in a world like ours that is based on a capitalistic system where knowledge, especially specialized knowledge, is necessary in order to make a living. In order to survive in our society, you have to have some type of knowledge that you offer that other people don't have access to. That's why we have many different professions, classes for those professions. Most of them have vocabularies, and we have to work in order to learn those vocabularies, learn to do those things in order to get licensed. And our knowledge, along with what we do practically, is how we make a living. Or we end up starving to death, being called unskilled workers, doing the work that is most necessary in the society, but being paid less, which is almost the opposite of what it should be. And so we find ourselves in a society, you see, where we have learned that knowledge is more important than activity. So in these 7 videos, we're going to talk about the different ways of knowing. The first way of knowing, according to many people and according to the type of thinking and understanding I'm talking about, that comes from reading and thinking clearly and intuition, was the common knowledge, the type of knowledge people had during the time when they were hunting and gathering, when everybody needed to know what was necessary to do in order to keep the group healthy and strong. These groups usually only grew up to groups of about 100 people or 125 people. That's why most people, even today in large cities, usually never know more than 125 people. That's built into us. And so, common knowledge was necessary. Everybody had to know how to hunt. Everybody had to know how to fish. Everybody had to know what type of food to eat, what was poison, what was not. Everyone had to know how to build a house, to build a home, to make clothing. All of this was part of common knowledge. And in many villages in other parts of the world before they reach statehood, you will find traces of this common knowledge, the knowledge that was necessary for people to survive. It was only later when people began to settle down and to stay in one place that specialized knowledge began to prevail, because the labor became so intense. So many people had to do so many different things to hold together this artificial creation called the village or the state, that there was not room for common knowledge anymore. Unfortunately, as a result of that, common sense, which could probably be used to replace the word common knowledge, slowly began to disappear too. And so we are not in a place of common knowledge anymore. We're not in a place of common sense. We think that we have advanced when it comes to knowledge and ways of knowing, but in reality, we have regressed. We have gone down. We have dropped the level. We have focused on specialized knowledge instead of specialized knowledge, bringing people together as a whole, though. In actuality, it separates. It creates a pyramid. It creates unjust economic systems. And right now we find ourselves in unjust economic systems. And we find ourselves where small groups of people, like gangs, hold secret knowledge that we don't have access to. And so the division will always be there as long as some have power over others, and the amount of money that one can make, the access to the economy, is limited or based on that knowledge. And so this big step towards growth and understanding and superiority that turned into specialized knowledge looks good on the surface. It looks like it works well when it comes to creating this big, giant conglomerate of people called the city or the state. But in reality, it began the decay of the human spirit and the dissolution of the common sense that we all had at one time. And we're going to end up paying for that in the future. And so next time we will focus on this specialized knowledge. So leave your comments, subscribe to this channel, be a follower, and if you want to learn how to make your own YouTube channel, just click the link below where you will have free access to a PDF file and also some videos to teach you how to do that. It's good to be with you. Thank you for being with us. We will talk with you again very, very soon.